Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 3 of the Player Issue Podcast Cave Sessions. I'm your host, Aaron Warwick, sitting across from a lovely wife. As always, I'm going to say it now, episode 1, 2, and 3, hopefully more in the future, is my lovely wife, Emma. G'day, Emma. How are you?
Her last name, and I don't.
Oh, that's fair. Okay. Well, but the fact that I did say we're married probably suggests that it's the same last
It
name.
doesn't matter.
Okay. So
I want to hear it.
okay, let's pull that back, shall we? G'day, I'm your host, Aaron Warwick, and sitting across from me is the lovely Emma Warwick. How are you going, Emma?
Hello.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah.
Again.
Again.
First things first, we had a bit of a crazy weekend. I wouldn't say crazy, but we had a good weekend. Reasoning being was our first wedding anniversary. So what a weekend. Did you have a good weekend? I hope you did.
Oh, I did, minus being dragged to a horror film, but that was fine.
Yeah, so how many people can say on their wedding anniversary, the first wedding anniversary, Raju, that they stayed in a lovely hotel on a nice beach and got dragged to a horror movie at 9:30 at night until midnight in fully reclinable leather seats, mind you.
The receipts were good. The seats were good, and I'm so grateful for the blanket that I could throw over my head so I couldn't watch 90% of the movie.
But it was a good time there, right? You had a good time?
It was a good time. Popcorn was good.
See, I don't remember it being all that good, actually. I think we did eat it all from memory, but I feel like
It was
wasn't that great. I remember just thinking that Carousels and even Armadale's was way better. And we went to the Innaloo cinemas, so pick up your game, Innaloo. However, those seats are amazing. They fully recline all the way back, unlike Carousel, which only go back a certain way, but these ones went right the way back so you could lay down.
Oh, nice.
You never want to sit at the front of the cinemas, but we did. But because they reclined all the way back, it actually made it pretty good.
It was nice.
Anyway, enough about us. So we had a great weekend. We then tried to go and film a segment for the show for this show today. However, didn't quite work out how we would like, as per usual. Technical difficulties. Slightly annoying, but it just means that we got another week to perfect it. And it also means that this week's episode will be a bit shorter. So I don't know if you've noticed, but if you can see in the cameras, I am super tired. My eyes are droopy. I'm twitching like crazy right now in my left eye. So
I'm wearing glasses because my vision is blurred.
So yeah, we're wrecked.
We're stuffed.
And the reason for that is because we sat through 2 hours and 43 minutes of the show. So apologies to everybody out there, though we do appreciate all those that did watch the whole show and gave us some feedback about the show. So we appreciate that. One of the feedbacks, obviously, is that it was too long.
Too long.
And if we can cut it down, that would be great. And trust me, I agree, because my sanity, as far as editing the show goes, it will be much appreciated for myself. So, yes, that is what we're doing today and in the future. We are going to slow things down a little bit, cut back some stuff. Even if we do interviews, which we will, we still have a couple of players lined up, previous, past, and present. We will do the interviews still, but we'll just cut down maybe the open and close a little bit so it's not as long. But anyway, the feedback was great and we appreciate it. Any feedback you have is always welcome. And as a result, today's show will be much shorter. So the rundown for today is, obviously, we'll go through any feedback from last week, including the new segment that I was talking about. We'll give you a little bit of rundown what that's going to be. We were actually sitting here before the show discussing what we were going to do as far as a little jingle or a little intro to that was going to be, and that's exciting. As long as I can make it or get someone else to make it, it'll be quite fun.
I have a vision.
Then we'll talk about the update on the end of season sales, and there is an update to the Fremantle Dockers end of season sale, so please make sure you follow us for that. We'll stay with us for that. I won't get too much into that just yet because we'll talk about it shortly. Then we'll do the viewer questions. There are a few there. There's a few that Em's going to ask, and we'll do what's in the cave, and then we'll close the show. So nice short chat. Allows you to refresh for next week. How you feeling, Em?
Yeah. Should have made a coffee.
We had a coffee last week, didn't we? Didn't we have coffees last week
Don't
during
know,
the show?
but we should have made a coffee.
I think we might have even finished them before we even got
Not
started.
even
last
the
week.
latest show we've done. The latest show we've normally done at like midnight. It's not even. Oh, it's 11 o'clock. How did it become 11 o'clock?
It's not far off.
It was literally 9:30 when I sat in here. How was it 11 o'clock already?
It's not even we had technical difficulties today.
God,
Like it was all
no.
perfect. Like there was
We
no
just
issues.
couldn't
Plugged
get
it in, away it went. We just decided to move things and shift. Well, speaking of move things and shift, you can see over my right shoulder here, this
Our
guy up
head.
here. Oh, say it again.
Our head.
Our head. All right, let's not get too deep into that. This guy, he's going to be up there permanently, I think. Now he looks pretty damn cool. It's not a polystyrene head. Styrofoam. It's not a styrofoam head, which I was worried about when we actually had it on the table next to where Fife and Mundy are sitting right now. Because of the cameras and the ring lights and everything, it was too bright and you couldn't really tell what was going on. But you can see it now changing colors. It'll keep doing that throughout and just looking cool. And it's got my Rode headphones on there, so he's a bit of fun. I don't know where I was going with that at all, but
IKEA.
okay,
$39.
yeah. So if you want this really cool color changing head, it's $39 at IKEA. There was tons of them, and there were a lot of people interested in them.
We can, $39. We can get you one for the for a small price of $45, not including shipping.
It's a lot of. It's a 40-minute drive up there. I would.
Yeah, okay, $45. Some meatballs, not including shipping and handling.
Yeah, I'll take meatballs as payment.
Yeah.
They're always good, except for people don't need to hear this.
Oh,
The burping, I guess, that happened for hours afterwards was awful.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I felt really sick. But in saying that, this is not what we're here to talk about.
It's not. So
No,
we'll move on
moving
from
on,
that.
people. So sorry.
We have another jersey. Yes, it is jersey.
It's a jersey.
It's a jersey. So we have a Ben Simmons 2000, I think it was 18-19. Yep, Philadelphia 76ers game worn jersey. So that shows you that we aren't just going to talk about AFL stuff, because we do have NBA as well as a lot of other things in here as well. Reason for that being there today is obviously the NBA season kicked off today as we're recording on the Tuesday night. And the Nets, which Ben Simmons is actually playing for, finally, kick off tomorrow as well against New Orleans. But anyway, so we got him there today, and we'll have a new one each week. So something a bit different, bit of fun. Also, Em's little mannequin next to her head as well has changed as well. I don't reckon Em could even tell you what it is. Can you tell me what that is? I mean, it quite literally says what it is.
I know, yeah, but I'm trying to. Is it the player I think it is?
Oh, I don't know.
Is it Nat Five?
It is.
Is it Nat Five? State of Origin, bushfire appeal, bushfire relief round. No.
It is. Well done. Good job. I'm impressed. I mean, I probably talked about it enough that you should know what it is.
Actually, State of Origin, bushfire relief. I just remember it being 5.
Yeah. So yeah, super cool that jumper. I think it was Matthew, and I'm gonna butcher the name. It's amazing how many times we butcher names on this show, but everyone seems to have a really difficult name. I don't even know if I want to try it because I'm definitely butchering it. Matthew Turchinovich. Turchinovich. I haven't read it. See, I haven't actually read his name for some time, so I can't even remember how it was spelled. So I'm definitely butchered it. But I appreciate you, Matthew, for giving me the heads up about that jumper. It was a really random auction. I can't even remember what the group was, but yeah, he gave me the heads up about it, and I bid, I think it was $1,000 or roundabouts to win that. So super happy to get that one. And that Ben Simmons next to me, I think I paid only about $500 for it.
Too much.
So I was pretty happy. $500 for an NBA jersey is about average for an average player. So the fact that Ben left the Sixers, everyone was almost giving him away. So I did really well out of it for a good player. And he is a good player. He's an all-star. $500 was a bargain.
Mate, we haven't even finished the rundown yet.
Yes, we have.
Have we?
Yeah, we have. I said that
Questions.
we're going to do the close at the end, the questions and the close, and what's in the cave. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
See, mate, that's how tired you are. You know what's going on right now. All right, so we'll talk about a little bit of feedback about last week's show. Emma's got a ton of feedback.
Do I?
Yeah. About one particular moment, of course, in the show.
I don't ever want to relive that ever again.
I really hope that everyone has been able to watch it because it's worth it. Even if you just go on the video, and I think it's about an hour and a half into the show, find the video. I'm going to chapter the videos as well, so you can kind of see where everything is happening on the description. So if you don't want to watch the whole show, you'll be able to see what's where. Hopefully that'll help you out. But you need to watch it if you haven't seen it. It's fantastic. It's actually on our TikTok as well. We have a TikTok, Player Issue Podcast TikTok.
Too, really.
Yeah, the whole video's on there.
I've got no feed. What do you mean I have feedback for it? I have no feedback. I look like Spud. It's my new name.
That's another feedback.
That's
another nickname. So.
Apparently my nickname is now Spud. The Spud.
That's fair.
For a Spud.
Yeah.
But it's the most embarrassing video ever, and you had to post it. And
yes, I did.
Let's just
absolutely
move on.
We had a lot of fun making it.
Let's
so
move on.
Of course, we're going to share it with the world.
My toe still hurts. Move on.
All right. So there was some feedback about last week's episode.
It wasn't about my video. Was not about my video.
There was.
No, not bad.
No, nothing bad.
Nothing bad.
So nothing bad about the show, which is great, except for the fact it went too long.
Carry on.
We're fixing that, as mentioned. So I did ask what the favourite moment of the show was. Hawthorn Guernsey collection. Funny that. Said seeing all those gorgeous Hawthorn Guernseys. Cheers, Brett. Jurgen, the Jurgen Collective on Instagram. Lots of laugh faces. Nice work. Glad I could get some good content out of my question. So I think he appreciates the video very much, and I certainly appreciate your question. And AFLW Collector said, the leg falling off got him good.
I forgot about that.
And I did mention that wasn't even in the original video. That was an outtake.
No, I was just trying to put the mannequin back, and Aaron was filming me, and then the freaking leg fell off, and we just went from there.
I don't even know I was filming. I definitely stopped filming, and then I seen you pick up the mannequin the way you did and just start running off with it. Just some reason I was like, I got to film this, and you started yelling out some shit as well, which is great. But you can't hear it over the music, unfortunately, but hilarious. And it just happened perfectly that the leg falls off as you go in the cave. That was brilliant. So yeah, we did have a bit of feedback.
We also got feedback from Matt. Matt.
Yes, we got more feedback as well.
I go all right for a Spud.
Yeah. Hang on, let me get there.
Oh, sorry.
So we also had another mate of ours message us who I didn't think would watch the show, to be perfectly honest, but he does. So g'day, Matt. How are you? Appreciate you watching the show. Can't wait to have you join us because it will be hilarious.
Funny.
We always wanted to make a video, myself and Matt, back in school, and we used to sit at Chicken Treat in the corner after we'd wagged most of the day. We'd go to Chicken Treat and just sit there in the window at Armidale and just talk shit about everybody. So this is halfway there to our dream. So Matt, come and join us on the show. It'll be great fun.
Come round.
So Matt messaged me yesterday and said, I'm currently watching episode 1 of the Cave Sessions. M is bloody hilarious. So I don't think this is fair because every comment we've had about someone being funny or entertaining has been about you. Everyone thinks you're hilarious.
Don't even do anything.
So that brings me to the next bit. He also said he ended up watching episode 2 last night as well. He said, M absolutely nailed it. The commitment to tackling the dummy was priceless. It was. You went hard at that dummy. I think that was the most impressive part. Is I said to you, I was like, you need to psych yourself up for this because tackling that dummy is not going to be fun. It's not a soft dummy. That thing is hard mannequin, solid. Especially when you hit the ground tackling it, it ain't going to be tickle.
I'm pretty sure we only did one take as well because I was like, I'm going to do this and we're going to do it once and it's got to be right.
We actually did two takes.
We did 2, but the first one was actually crap.
I can't actually remember what happened to the first one. I remember the tackle being fantastic.
I started laughing afterwards. I just couldn't remember what the hell I was supposed to say.
So we did do a second take, and the first one was because the tackle was absolute perfection, but she got up to say her lines that Well, she didn't have lines really. She just off the top of her head. So all that was off the top of her head. Nothing was scripted. And she just pissed herself laughing. So she did have to psych herself up for a second tackle and did it quite well, I think. Yeah, he thinks the commitment to tackling Dunwoody was priceless, and the fact he did it 2 times and it was perfect both times was brilliant. He mentions she goes all right for a spud. So I think you've definitely got a new nickname. And if it's up to me, you'll have a new little friend next to you in the next couple of weeks, I reckon.
Great.
I'm working on it. I've
That's
definitely got
nice.
some ideas.
You're an ass. Such an ass.
He also said there was some good conversation pieces. It's a really enjoyable podcast to listen to. So thank you, Matt. Appreciate you, and I really can't wait to have you on the show with us. It will be a lot of fun. I believe that is all I have for feedback for last week. However, we did start talking about doing some new segments, and I think it was as soon as we put the show together or finished doing the show, may have even been during the show. I think it just, again, my light bulb went off in my head. And I just started thinking about these things that I wanted to record and put into a new segment. So we put that into action pretty quickly, and we come up with a new segment which will debut next week on next week's show. Will be the first one, and it's going to be called Cave Sessions on the Road. No, I don't like that. Was it? It's on the road with Cave Sessions. Nah. Cave Sessions on the Road. No, it is Cave Sessions on the Road.
You suddenly don't like that.
Yeah, no, I did when I first said it. I loved it. And now I'm like, is that right? Is that what I said it was?
I think you said what's in the cave on the road or something like that.
Nah, that's wrong.
No?
Cave Sessions on the Road. Yeah, okay. It's Cave Sessions on the Road. That's great.
Sessions.
We're sticking with it.
Cave Sessions.
Cave Sessions. So, anyway, so that was I guess that's a blooper that's going to stay in because that was an absolute nightmare. That was, but anyway, back to on track here. We will have a new segment airing next week. The first episode of Cave Sessions on the Road will be next week's episode, and it will be in Perth. That's the only issue we currently have with the idea. Is obviously we are in Perth, and getting to see everybody's collection. So obviously the premise of the show, Cave Sessions on the Road, will be we're going to film your caves or your collections. If you have a man cave, fantastic. Otherwise, it'll just be we'll go in and film your collection, have a chat with you a little bit about it. It'll be a real short interview type segment with some of your collection in the background as well. So Em did a great job with B-roll. She had absolutely no idea what B-roll was before we went. But she absolutely nailed it. And then we got home to review the footage and start putting it all together. And I realized that the camera that I was using to interview our guest, which I won't tell you yet, the audio didn't work at all. So technical difficulties, again, continue to happen for us. But
life, isn't it?
It's just us learning.
It's just freaking life.
So we're learning everything we do on the fly. Simple as that. And everything was pretty great, and next week will be even better. So I actually have some more ideas for that show, and I think it's going to work out for the better. So I really look forward to bringing that to you next week. But Cave Sessions on the Road, look out for it every week. Well, it won't be every week.
Just well, hold your horses.
Here we go.
Calm down,
All
mate.
right, so it won't be every week unless someone wants to sponsor us to go over and follow everybody around the country, then we're more than happy to do it every week. But at the moment, it's going to be WA based. If we do start heading out over east, we'll certainly love to come and see you and do some cave sessions on the road around Australia. But at the moment, due to constraints, the fact that we live in WA, it will be localized to here in Perth. But it should be a lot of fun, and we look forward to bringing it to you. So that's a new segment that we have come up with, I guess not from feedback, but just our general thoughts after watching the show. So we look forward to that.
What's next, bro?
That's Em trying to push the show along, I think. She's getting a bit tired.
6 minutes already, so
well, no, I mean, it's been recording for a little bit, but it's close.
Let's move on.
All right, moving on to the next segment is a little bit of an update of end of season sales or auctions that we've seen over the last week since our last episode. St Kilda had that auction on Saturday morning. Yeah, Saturday morning.
You look at me as if like I know.
But fair enough. St Kilda had that auction on Saturday morning at RSEA Park. I do have some videos and some pictures which you'll be seeing on screen right now, which is fantastic. Thank you for all of those who sent those through. Everybody had a great time from what I can tell. The prices were pretty fair. I hope you can see on the pictures. I couldn't quite tell myself, but I'm sure if you were there, you had a great time. I've seen a lot of jumpers that were put up from people who picked up some great stuff, and everybody seemed happy with their pickups. That's the main thing. I was also very lucky to pick up a couple myself as well from a sale, purely from a couple of people who were willing to help me out, which is what this hobby and collection game is all about. So shout out to Patrick. Patrick, that's a shout out to Clint Johnson because both he and I have absolutely no idea how to say his name. I know it's not your real name, Patrick. However, I do know your real name, but we won't share it. But a simple way to put it is it's Patrick.
It could be worse. It could be called a spud.
Maybe he is. I don't know. He's a great man, Patrick. He's a legend. He's helped me out. He's got me a fantastic jumper, which I really wanted. Rowan Marshall 2019 home jumper, I believe it is. It's on its way to Perth. It should be here tomorrow. So I really look forward to that, and I appreciate you jumping in and grabbing that for me, Patrick. You're a legend. The man got there at 10 p.m. the evening before. So he was there for a long time. As a matter of fact, he was there by himself for about 5 hours until.
Oh.
So, and then I believe Reese Mitchell was next in line. He came and joined him at 3 a.m. So the commitment is there to these sales. That's all you got.
Yep. I like my sleep too much.
Well, I know that to be true because coming up for the Freo sale, you will be joining me at probably 7 a.m., I reckon.
Oh. You can. I'll meet you there later. What time's open?
Yeah, we'll get to the update about the Freo sale as well because there is some news on the Freo sale. Yes, coming up very shortly. We'll continue with the Saints one just for now. Like I said, appreciate you, Patrick, for hooking me up. You're a very good man, and I think you've hooked up a couple of other people as well. So, good job, mate. Well done. I look forward to showing the jumper off next week as well when I get it. And also Reese Mitchell, another legend who has worked a trade with me to get a great jumper, which I was really, really hopeful to get. Just the design, really. I wanted that design. But he's also hooked me up with a tremendous player as well. So really fair and bountiful trade for both of us. But I'm super happy with it. And I appreciate you, Reese, for everything you do. You're a very good man. And I will hope to look forward to paying that back to you very soon, of course. Em's over there falling asleep, I think. I don't know what's going on over there. But no, so the St Kilda sale looked like a lot of fun. I don't know if it's happened in that format before. I can't remember. I feel like they have done at least once before, but probably not as well as it was done. Some feedback I got from that sale was a lot of the better jumpers were put on a table with these prices, but there were $200 to $500 jumpers, so they were the better jumpers. But then the interesting thing was some of those jumpers or the players, the better players, could be found on other racks for far cheaper. So, for instance, a Jack Steele was going for $500 on one of the racks, and then were able to find another Jack Steele hanging off another rack for $70. So some of the feedback from that was just a little bit of inconsistency. I was not sure what happened there.
Please take that in. A little bit of inconsistency.
A little bit inconsistent. There's a little bit of inconsistency in the price. I'm trying to be serious here, but it's not working. Oh shit! So there was a little bit of inconsistency going through some of the prices. However, I think there was quite a lot left over as well. So I actually created a signature on my email, so on the Player Issue Podcast email, which is player_issue_podcast@yahoo.com. If anyone wants to email, you feel free. I created a really neat little signature, so it looks super professional, and sent an email to St Kilda hoping that they would get back to me with some of the designs that I was hoping maybe to pick up. Hoping they'd get back to me and say, yep, this is what we have left. If you would like to purchase, let me know. Donuts.
Donuts.
Donuts. Or spuds. Absolutely nothing. They gave me nothing. No answer at all. But they could not be in the store. They could be, having their week off or whatever now because
It is off
the
season.
season's finished and it is what it is. But hopefully they'll get back to me soon. So yeah, it looks like everybody had a lot of fun. I'm sure it was very cold out there at 3:00 in the morning and even earlier for Patrick. Well done. I appreciate the effort. I actually saw Vita too. So I'm going to chuck that picture up again for you right now. And there's a legend in that picture, about third in line. So g'day, Vita. I hope you're watching as well. It was great to meet you when we were over there against the Saints, actually, in July. So, all right. We'll move on from the St Kilda auction. There was a St Kilda Lotto. Oh, Jesus. The Saints locker sale. We'll move on from that. Port Adelaide. I feel like they're trying super hard to get it right every year because every year they kind of try something a little bit different.
But failing.
No, I wouldn't say failing. I think a lot of... What are you doing over there, mate?
Keeps getting stuck.
I literally just looked away for half a second and I see you in the corner of the eye just doing this. What's going on?
Keeps getting stuck on my hand. Anyway.
Where was I? I was talking about... Okay, so Port Adelaide. I feel like they try every year to try something a little bit different. I guess to make more people happy and just to try and get it right. The only problem with that is not everybody is going to be happy. No matter what you do, not everyone's going to be happy. No matter what happens, there will be someone who misses out on something and will blame Port Adelaide for it, or just blame all the people that were there. And there's nothing you can do. Simple as that. So this year, they announced it the week of, so they have a tendency to not give very much time, which sucks because there are people who obviously of it. So I say obviously a lot. That's one thing I've got to try and stop doing because I listen to podcasts all the time and I just hear them say certain words over and over and over again. And the only time I've actually heard someone pull themselves up on it is William Regal. So I listen to the wrestling podcast, as I mentioned, and he's got a podcast, Villains and Gentlemen or something like that. And he says again a lot. And a lot of them do. Most of them actually do say again a lot. Every time they start a sentence, they say again and again. And he actually pulled himself up on it. It was hilarious because I was like, oh my God, I've never actually heard someone do that. So he's pulled himself up on it. He's just gone, again, there I go again. And I've just said again. And I'm just keep saying again. What is going on? I'm just freaking out. Like, it was hilarious. I've got to stop doing this. So I'm going to try my very best to stop saying obviously as much. Unfortunately, obviously, I have a habit of it. I just can't get out of it. But see what I can do. Anywho, that's your word.
That's my line.
So I almost said it again there. So anyway, rewinding back to the Port Adelaide sale, I forgot where I was, but there is not much you can do about trying to make everybody happy. The only thing you can do is keep I'm not going to say the main people, but you've got a lot of people who put in the most amount of money or do the most amount for clubs, members, etc., spend a lot of money as being members. But they go and they spend a ton of money on the auctions. They go to these sales and they get there super early and they camp out and they make a day of it, always calling up the store and spending a lot of money on just merchandise in general and just have a lot of passion and love for the club. They're the ones I think you really need to worry about the most. But then there are the people who just show up to these sales, get there 20 minutes before they open, and then complain about it afterwards.
And expect the world.
Yeah. So they're the people that unfortunately will go on Facebook or Instagram or whatever and complain that they've missed out on a Travis Boak match worn jumper. And unless you put in the effort, like a lot of these people do, it's just not going to happen.
But it's not even that. Like the Freo sale a lot every year. I don't know why I bother going on Instagram or their Facebook page or whatever, but every time after the sale, you'll see someone be like, I rocked up with my 10-year-old son and there was nothing left. What time did you rock up? Oh, I rocked up at 11 o'clock.
Mm.
Mate, the sale started at 9 o'clock. So you're 1, 2 hours late. And 2, is your 10-year-old son really going to be purchasing a $250 jumper?
Mm.
Like, is he really? Are you really going to that? No, you just want to whinge. They do. They just want to whinge because they don't like that grown men are going into this and buying things that they want. How dare you?
You're right. I mean, there's
How dare a grown man have a? I'm off on a rage
or
now. Here we
woman.
go. We're
Thank
off
you.
again. Okay, no, sorry, but yeah, how dare an adult go into these sales and want to buy things for themselves, and then it's like, oh well, these kids missed out. Honestly, is your kid going to go and purchase a $250 jersey if they've saved up? Good on them.
Oh, there we go. There's our first one for the day.
Good on
We're
them.
now explicit again.
Stop it. But like most of the time, the kids go in there and they want the cheap stuff, the socks and all that, and those things go quickly. And half the time, if you are at those sales, as early as we are, you'll realize that the adults aren't purchasing that stuff. The adults are going for the jerseys, the jackets, the banners, all the things like the cheap stuff, which are socks and bags and all that, are going to kids anyway, and they just get there early. And it's not the adult's fault that you are there 2 hours late for a sale and then complain there's nothing left.
Yeah, what I don't understand is the people that do rock up either on the dot or after it's already opened and then complain that they
There's
didn't
nothing
get
left.
particular players or even that there's nothing left at all. It is what it is. These things are much more valuable and desired than they were previously.
I get really annoyed that like a lot of the comments are like I said, for instance, as a reference, oh, my son went there, me and my kids went there, and there wasn't any football jumpers left, and all these, I'm going to say adults because it's not just men, but most of the time it is just men or females there. But there's all these adults with all these jerseys. Well, they got there at that time and they got them first. This is the whole reason of a sale. You get there late, you're going to miss out. But why is it so wrong for adults to want to collect these things? And they always, straight away as well, I always see a comment being like, they're just going to sell them anyway. Guarantee you half the people don't.
Mm.
They just want them for... What makes you think that they want to sell them? Maybe they want them for themselves.
Joe, the funny thing about that is if they do sell them, guess what? It means you get another opportunity to buy it as well.
And most of the time as well, like, for instance, you might end up taking more home than you probably should.
I get a bit...
He gets carried away.
I get carried away, and I do end up taking home more than I probably should on the day. But it's ingrained in me
But
as
a
that
sale
collecting
is
thing.
there for you to take advantage of, and sales were not meant to be fair. Like people giving stuff away for free. It's not meant to be fair. If you rock up in time and you're there in time to get a free thing, say someone's handing out one free thing to each person, there's only 12 of them, there's 12 people in line, they all get something, and then you come out and you're the 13th or 14th person and go, oh, that's not fair.
Mm.
It's not meant to be fair. You either get there early or you don't. You can't just keep blaming everyone else.
Oh, well, that's exactly right. And that's a perfect analogy, really, I think. You only have a certain amount of jumpers that are made for the players each year. So one thing that I saw on the Instagram last year was the mid-season sale, actually. So there was far less chance that there'll be many jumpers available anyway, because the room was tiny. There was only 3 racks probably, so there was a lot less opportunity to grab better players. And someone complained that him and his I think it was a 5-year-old daughter didn't get a Nat 5 jumper, and then all these adults, he did say men, all these men got in there and were throwing their weight around and got these jumpers before they had a chance. But like you said, you only have a certain amount. You count out that many people at the front of the line, fair chance they're the ones going to get there first.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
First in,
if you're
first
not
serve.
if you're not there before the rest of them, then too bad.
First in, first serve. What are you going to do next time? So next, sale just come. We're going to pick up, say there's 5 Nat 5s, just say. And, you, me, a bunch of other people have these Nat 5s. And we're going to go, oh, that 5-year-old girl wants this jersey. I better go give it to her. That's really unfair. How are you supposed to know? You want it, you got it. First in, first serve. Best dressed. Sorry.
Joe, it's actually funny that you say that as well, because I think we got a couple. We had maybe 3 5s last year. But someone come up to us, oh, 5. Oh, I really disappointed because I missed out on a 5. So what did we do? You don't even remember this, do you?
I had it.
Yeah, you had it, and then what did you do?
I gave it to him.
Yeah. So it doesn't always work out the fact that these people just grab these stuff and are just assholes and just keeping it for themselves. Sometimes, and there was a girl as well that was walking around at the end of the sale,
She wanted Schultz.
and she really wanted a Lockie Schultz jumper, and I think it was only a trainer. It might have been an away, but I remember having one, and she was like, "Oh, excuse me, do you have any Schultz in there?" Because she saw I was going through.
Yeah, yeah. Well, this is when we go through our organisation where we like work out what we've got. Do we actually want it?
Yes, I mean, I guess to a point where I've realized how many jumpers I actually have, and okay, so I do only have a certain amount of money, and there may be a point where when I'm spending $5,000, $6,000, like I'm not going through and counting in my head exactly how much I'm spending. So every time I'm grabbing a jumper, I don't know exactly how much is ticked over, right? So we have to go through. So we started going through these jumpers, and we're just counting out how much we had and how much we had left over. And the little girl, maybe 7 or 8 years old, came up to us and said, "Oh, do you have a Schultz in there? I missed out on a Lockie Schultz. It'd be really nice if you had one. If And she didn't say, "Could I have it?" Ever. Not once did she say,
No.
"Could I have it?" But I said, "Yeah, I think I actually do." And I found it, and I'm pretty sure it was a trainer. Got it out, and I gave it to her and said, "It's all yours. You can have it." So not everyone's there to be an arsehole was basically the point.
But to add to that as well, keep in mind, I think she was about 10. I think she was a bit older, but she was a kid.
Well,
She was a
look
kid.
7 to me.
She asked very politely. She didn't say, I want it. She just said, if you have anything you don't want, could I look through it? So we gave her the Schultz because we knew she wanted a Schultz. And then we had, I'm going to say about 10 jumpers that we were like, nah, we don't want them.
Mm.
And I gave them to her and her mum.
Mm.
I put them on the chair. And I said, you can go through these, whatever you don't want. If you don't want any of them, that's fine. But whatever you don't want, whatever you want, you can grab. But whatever you don't want, just, put them back on the rack or put them in a pile. Someone will get them or look through them. Within seconds of me putting these jumpers next to this poor girl, she got mobbed.
Mm.
It was like a pack of seagulls on a chip.
Mm.
If that was you, do fucking better. I'm serious. This young girl was like so happy to just even go through these. Let her go through them. There was 10 of them. Do you know what? She actually didn't take any of them. She didn't even take the Schultz in the end because she couldn't afford it.
Mm.
But these adults mobbed her. Let her look through them. Guarantee you she was going to put them away anyway. But she was just like, oh, cool. This is really cool. Thanks. Like, didn't buy any of them. Didn't grab any of them. Actually, I don't even think she got a chance to go through any of them because these people mobbed her.
Yeah, and those jumpers were gone within 5 seconds. Yeah.
It's a kid. If it's you, do better. Don't be a dick.
Damn it. You beat me to it. I was actually going to say that, but you beat me to
Don't
it.
be
A dick. Yeah, I think we're going to have another segment here, and it's organic, which I think is the best thing about segments sometimes, is Emma's rant for the day. So
It's not really a rant, but like it's a little girl. Like, I mean, even whether it was a little girl, a little boy, a little dog, I don't care. Like, do I have to say cat? Do I have to say cat so it's not like unfair?
Yeah, you're being
I'm
specious.
being. Stop.
Is that a thing? I don't know. That sounds like it.
Okay, we don't care if it's a he, she, them, they, them, what, it, thing, this, that, cat, dog, meow. I don't care. But kids are kids. Like, just let her look through these jumpers. I guarantee you she couldn't afford half of them. She couldn't even afford the Schultz that we gave her. And then, do you know what? Someone else could have gone up to her and gone, can I have a look through that pile? Yeah, sure, no worries. And the next person up there, can I look through that pile? Yeah, no worries. Don't act like pack of savages. Like, it's a kid.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't even know where we just segue from, to be honest. Yeah, exactly.
Having things.
Yeah.
People complaining that they missed out on things and us grabbing things that we then go through and go, actually, we don't want that.
Yeah, I mean, I think the segue
helping other
from
people
that
out.
was, so people are going to miss out. Simple as that. If you aren't there super early and you aren't in line with everybody else nice and early in the first 20 people, so I believe even some of the people who were in the first 20 or right at the end of the 20 anyway, missed out on some really good jumpers. the difference with that is they didn't complain because they knew that if they
Yeah.
get in there early enough, they were going to miss out. But they were still happy with what they got.
Basically, the moral of the story is you can't be angry at the people that got there early in the morning and you got there after opening or dead on opening and complain that you missed out.
Yeah. It's all about commitment. And if these people are committed and you're not, sorry, simple as that. I do understand, however, and I'm not picking on or singling out interstaters as well, or people that are coming from long distances. Because as I mentioned, I think I said as I mentioned, the Port Adelaide sale was gave really short notice, announced it really short notice, and that sucks. I don't agree with that at all. I don't know the strategy there. I think I wouldn't say they're screwing themselves, but they probably are a little bit
It's
because
not very organised.
I don't think they are selling out all their jumpers at the moment, and I don't think they have the last couple of years. Port Adelaide. And I think the reason for that is because they're just not giving enough notice. So there are a lot of people that come from interstate. They even said, "Don't bother calling us. We're not going to answer." So that sucks. I mean, they're going to be way too busy, so that's fair enough. Don't email again. Not going to answer. Obviously, you can do it after, but see how you go because you may not get an answer there either. But that's a hard one. So interstaters and people who are coming from distances, the only way you can help them is to give them more notice, give them a few weeks at least so they can get their affairs in order and try and get over there. Again, that's about commitment though. So a lot of people will complain that, oh, you don't look after the status. There's nothing you're doing for us. There's not much they can do for you other than offer stuff for you post sale. That's really all they can do. Gold Coast do a good job of it as far as putting their stuff online. But then it's a shit fest and you don't know what you're getting. Just like I
I'm
showed.
pretty sure from every sale we've been to, there's a total of maybe 7 people working. There's 2 people at the checkout, which is generally our friend Craig and another girl, and one's bagging them, the other one's totaling them, and then you've got someone that's constantly cleaning up coat hangers after people because they just drop them on the floor, and then you've got everyone making sure obviously no one's stealing stuff, and then this they can't constantly be like on the phone.
No, there's nothing I can do for interstaters.
Got that 5? Oh no, some man's just walked off with that. No, we don't have that one. Let me just go see if I can find another.
Yeah.
Nope, they haven't got that one either. Yeah, next phone call. Got the 5? No, haven't got that one. It's just not. It's not doable.
No, it isn't. So honestly, I know that people are upset by it. Questions always happen. What is going to happen for interstaters? Look, there isn't anything going to happen for interstaters. There's just no way to do it. The only thing I can suggest to you is commitment. And not everybody can do it. That's completely understandable and fair. But if they do give you more time, which is what we're trying to do here when we know about these sales, is give you as much notice as possible because I know that a certain club hasn't officially announced it yet, but we're giving you the heads up as much as we can. Is if you are able to make it, commit and fly over or drive, whatever you need to do. If you are committed and you want the best of the best stuff at the sale, then commit as hard as you can. Get there. It's a great day. Everyone has a great time, and you got the best opportunity and really the only opportunity to pick up some great stuff. So, unfortunately, that's all we can say about it. Is you have to commit super hard to it. Really, if we were living over east somewhere, if we were living on the Gold Coast, for instance, and the Freo sale come up, you can bet your ass that we would be there, no matter what. I think we committed last year to go to the Freo sale on our wedding day, if it came to it.
Yeah. No, we were talking about the day after. If it was the day after, we were going to rock up I was going to rock up in my dress, and you were going to rock up in your suit.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So, well, it was the day after the wedding. We were committing to going to the sale, no matter what.
Well,
so
originally, I scratched out the day in my diary. Not that many people know, but I run my own business. So I scratched out the day in my diary and not to book any clients in to come with you. And then obviously what you're about to disclose later. Then something changed and I ended up having to move a bunch of other clients for you, which we're all quite happy to move. But I did that. I didn't have to, but I did. If we could have just gone, nah, too bad, I'm not going to be there. But
so, simple matter of these sales. So Port Adelaide did what they could to please as much as they could. They didn't do the mystery lotto this year, which pissed a lot of people off last year because, or the year before, I can't remember, but pissed a lot of people off because they were paying the same amount of money, not knowing what they were getting. Some people were getting some great stuff. Some people were getting some not great stuff. And then they just tried different things to make everyone happy. And I've seen plenty of times when people say, "Oh, I missed out on this and this and this," and people say it's pretty simple. If you want that person, that player, go to auction. There's plenty of auctions throughout the year. You have your opportunity to buy it. Yes, it's going to cost more, but it's a simple fact that they are worth that. So people are paying that much, therefore they're worth that money. And if you're invested in that player and you want that player, you're going to have to pay for it. Or commit yourself to the sales as hard as you can. It's the only way you can, not guarantee it, but the only way you can give yourself the best opportunity to get something that you really want. And I believe the consistency of the Port Adelaide sale was pretty much similar or on par with Saints as well. However, they did have a pricing list, which you'll see on your screen right now. So it was pretty well uniform as to the prices of each item. So that was pretty good. And I believe that was probably the best way they've done it every year they've done it. We'll have to wait and see whether they do a in-store lotto or what do they call it? Lucky dip like they did last year. It got ugly last year, and I believe that all the feedback that would have been given by the Port Adelaide fans and people going to these sales would have definitely steered them the way they've gone this year. So I don't know. I reckon that the Port fans and supporters were probably happy with the way it went this year. I reckon. Anyway, there was another question given to me by Patrick. Oh, yes, Patrick. And he was asking me about blood jumpers. So he sent me a couple of photos of some jumpers that had pretty clear marks of blood on them. So there was blood-stained jumpers. And he was just asking, are the clubs even allowed to sell them? Or, why were they not sold before, essentially? Reason for that being, there we go, is COVID happened in 2020, and these jumpers were around that era. And the clubs just didn't have any idea what they were and were not allowed to sell. So Freo's stuff, when they sold their stuff at auction in 2020, and the locker room stuff was all as clean as you could possibly get. So some of the jumpers I bought at auction in 2020, they were, filthy in the games. They looked disgustingly awful, which was beautiful. We are a weird bunch, these collectors. But then when they arrived, it was the cleanest thing you've ever seen. It wouldn't look worn. And that's purely because of COVID. And the clubs just weren't sure what they were and were not allowed to put out as far as health concerns go. So that's exactly what the Saints would have done, I believe, is would have just put these jumpers aside thinking, oh, what can we do with these? It's pretty interesting or weird that they didn't clean them, get rid of the dirt or the blood. But it's great they didn't, because even Patrick's, the same as me, absolutely stoked with the fact that these jumpers are covered in blood, because I would be too. God, we're weird, aren't we? But yeah, that's simple fact of the blood jumpers. Clubs just wouldn't know what to do with them, and there's no set rule as far as what you can and can't sell. I think it's just organised by the club what they want to do as far as dirty, unwashed, or washed. So, as I keep saying to everybody, if you want the clubs to do unwashed jumpers like some do, I think Port Adelaide's still sending those out nice and filthy. If you want the clubs to do that, you need to keep telling the clubs that's how you want it. More people that tell them, the more chance you got of getting it. So just keep emailing, tell them on socials, whatever you got to do. If you want them filthy, let them know. It's the only way it's going to happen. Because we're coming out of COVID now, there's a chance it could happen. A lot of the clubs that were washing could potentially not. Washing. Okay, back to the end of season sales. We finished with Saints, Port. I don't know if anyone else is coming up. However, there is one more announcement we've got to make. You need to look like you need to say something.
I needed a burp. I'm sorry.
That's not what I thought was going to happen.
Sorry, carry on.
Oh, you don't want to say anything?
No.
Okay.
I was like, keep the camera on you. And you're just like, it looks like
it's one of those things where you're like,
I was trying to burp.
oh, you're going to speak? No?
No.
Okay.
Carry on.
Well, thank you.
Ladies do burp, people. They do. It happens.
Okay, so I'm not sure about any other end of season sales coming up other than the Saints Port that just had one. I probably would, at this stage, being that it is nearly November, I would suggest there aren't any more coming other than the ones we know about. Like I mentioned, Freo have not officially announced the sale yet. However, the new date, so there is a new date, is the 12th of November. Still at 9 a.m. Has been pushed back a week because one of the workers, who is a pivotal member, was unable to work on the day. So it has been pushed back to cater for him to be able to work. So please mark that in your diaries. Hopefully you're still watching. The 12th of November is the new Freo Dockers end of season sale, a locker room sale. Still at the same time, same place. And again, like I mentioned with the other sales, unfortunately for interstaters, there's really nothing that can be done for you. Try to get here. I'm giving you as much notice as we possibly can. Fly over. Join us in line. It's a good time.
We'll let you sleep in the cave.
Yes. Beg your pardon?
Oh, well, I mean, I'll sleep in the cave then.
Oh, cool. I'll take the bed then, thanks. Well, yeah, we'll see what happens.
I'll give you the dog's bed.
I'm not sure Milo will be too happy with that. Anyway, new date, Freo sale, 12th of November, 9 a.m. Be there, be square. Make sure you are coming over if you're from interstate. We would love to meet you. Come and say hello to Emma. No one wants to speak to me, apparently. So come say hello to Em. She'll gladly say hello to you.
Please don't call me Erin.
That's happened. That has
It's
happened.
happened so many times. I am not Erin. I am not.
I think this is why we're doing the video show now, right? So people will realize, oh, actually, shit, she's not Erin. She's Em. This weird guy over here, he's actually Erin. So,
Yeah, I'm not Erin.
so now people may know that I'm Erin. Hi. And that is Emma across the table from me. So come and say hello to us at the sale. We'll gladly say hello to you, but please remember, pick your times. If I look stressed or Em looks stressed, she definitely will be. But please definitely say hello. We'll appreciate your support as well. And we'll answer any jumper questions you have as well. And we'll try anyway.
I'll palm them off to you because I'll have no freaking clue.
That is it for end of season stuff, sales, locker room updates. I'm not going to say what I got in this week because we're a little bit further into the show than I expected at this point.
I told you you'd run out of time.
Well, I mean, we don't have a time limit, I guess, but we just want to keep it light. Keep it short. So, Em, let's skip through to viewer questions. We need to come up with a jingle for that too.
Okay, ready?
No, yeah, I'm ready.
Matthew Anthony Langley.
G'day, Matt. This is last week's question.
This is last week's question. I forgot.
Yeah, that's my fault because I had 3 different posts asking for questions, and I didn't read that one, so I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
We apologise. Anyway, wondering your take on player contracts these days. As now during trade periods, it seems half the time they're not worth the paper they're printed on. Maybe it's just me, but it seems binding contracts can be broken a lot easily than in the past. Maybe I'm just not with the times anymore, Erin. But it all seems so loose and easy for players to walk out on clubs away from contracts, etc. It does confuse me totally. Lol.
So, long-winded question, and there's no simple answer. I think there's a lot of answers to that question.
But we don't have time for that.
Well, you're right. We're in the day and age where mental health plays a massive part in where people go and where they're comfortable and where they want to play,
where they fit
or
in.
just that's absolutely right. So fitting in is another big thing. A lot of players at the end of their career would have just gone through an awful experience because they just did feel like they didn't fit in with other players, and a lot of them take their own life. So it's not like all roses and fairy gardens, and so players don't always have the best of times. Not thinking to laugh at him, but
no, just the way you said it. It's not said that way, but
it's not. Honestly, I couldn't remember what
it's not all roses and daisies and rainbows and stuff like that. Not fairy gardens.
I feel like that was worse explanation than mine.
Was it? Okay.
But anyway,
it's not
serious matter. So it's not always, the sun doesn't always shine the brightest, where you think it does. So these people at these clubs, they may not have the greatest experience. They don't always get out. So you may not know what's happening behind closed doors. But a lot of times as well, it's not. There is a go home factor. Um, Obviously, it's a lot more prominent nowadays. I don't know if it just seems to be some of the players are a little bit more mummy's boy than it has been previously. There is a culture. There formerly was a culture anyway of these tough players, tough AFL players. They were just expected to do it, expected to stay away from their homes, go to these new places, and just leave it behind. It's not the case anymore. People do have emotions, do have feelings, and some of the players have partners and relationships not in the same state. I know that Rory Lobb has been copying an absolute hammering
Yeah.
from all Freo supporters.
Some
Most.
people have been really nice. I've read some nice comments.
There's not too many.
Not
I'd
too
say
many, but I
the
have read some
ratio
nice
would be
comments.
90-10. So he's been copping absolute baking for it. And it's not because he wants to leave the club, although I would say, please put up a post saying you appreciate the fans and the club.
He's kind of
Why has
just
that not happened?
he's just kind of left us and then gone, oh, look at me. I'm in a Bulldogs jersey. So grateful to be here.
Yeah, I mean that's great.
Yeah.
And it's great. And I'm stoked for him. And he's got what he wanted. And he didn't leave the club because he didn't want to play for us anymore. If you know the story and know why he did it, his partner moved over east at the start of last year in 2021. It's been working from Melbourne the whole time. Tried to get over there at the end of last year. It didn't work out. So he still stayed with us last year. And people paraded him for asking for a trade so early. But, have a think about it in your own head for a second. Have a thought. If you were living away, so if I was living away from M for 2 years, I'd go nuts as well. And I wouldn't be saying that I don't want to work with these people anymore. Pardon me. I would just want to be with my wife and my partner. And that's as simple as fact
They've
as
been
that.
doing long distance for a very long time.
Yeah, and yes, it's not fair. He has a contract, but people they come up with an amicable solution, which is the club gets something out of it. He gets to be where he wants to be with his partner, not just at a new club, but also with a new club. But he's happy, and I think that is a major factor that we all seem to forget, and that is the players' welfare as well.
Yep.
It doesn't always look great. You do have these contracts signed, and sometimes people think it's all business and it's all about the money, but it isn't. I mean, sometimes it is about the people's well-being and their happiness. I lost a mate last week to suicide as well, and it is painful. The more opportunity we have to make people happy, the better that is for not just them, but for everybody else in their lives and their friends and family as well. So we have to look after these people as well. So yes, it sucks to lose some of these players. Best thing about it is sometimes we get things back from it. So we got a trade for deal for Lob, and other players or other clubs lost the players as well. But they got something back generally. In the AFL, realised that yes, it happens that players just get up and leave sometimes, where they even offer compensation picks when people do leave. And even if they're not contracted, they can get compensation picks. So yes, it sucks to lose players at times, but generally things will work out. Sorry, Matt, for such a long-winded answer there and probably a emotional bearing one. But yes, I agree with you as well that unfortunately contracts do seem to be, not worthwhile sometimes. But that comes down, I just said again for some reason, a lot of that comes down to the managers as well, not just the players. So the players will sometimes express their desire to do something or be somewhere. And it's the managers that are pushing super hard with these clubs and media. So it's, all these things are leaking out. And they're not leaking out because the players going around saying, I want to do this, I want to do that. 90% of the time. Sorry, I had to burp there, but I didn't want it in the mic. 90% of the time is the managers are doing their very best to get their clients where they want them to be. And that's leaking it to the media, telling them often bullshit to get them to where they want to be by talking shit. Maybe it's to get the club off their side. They maybe don't want them anymore because there's too much drama. There's a lot of things that go into it, and a lot of the stuff you don't see, and it's all in the background. And it's not always hunky dory. But so it's not always the players that are causing the issues as well. As a lot of times it is the managers causing trouble. That's their job. They get paid to do it, and chances are when they sign a new contract, they get paid bonuses as well. So of course they're going to do what they can. So yeah, tough. Contracts are tough. I don't like seeing the number one draft pick go to a club and talk so much about how he wants to improve the club and stuff like that, and then bail out the next year. But again, you don't know what's happening in the background, what he's been seeing, or any mental health issues that he may have. So, best thing to do is if you're not happy about it, just keep it to yourself. Keep it inside. Talk to your mates about it outside. You don't have to go on social media and just start bashing everybody because that helps nobody. People do see it. People with mental health issues and serious self-esteem issues see that shit. And they don't need to. No matter how much they try and keep away from it, it's everywhere. So just keep it to yourself, I think. If you're not happy with the situation, just keep it to yourself and talk to your mates about it. But don't plaster it everywhere. Just it is what it is. It is a business, but it's also people's lives.
Mm. And people can
That's
be
Aaron's rant for the day.
people can be hurtful.
Absolutely.
People can be very hurtful.
Emma's question number 2.
This is from Red, White, and Blue Guernseys on Instagram.
Beautiful. Love the name.
Question is, what's your take on older Guernseys, sewn on numbers / sponsors, and the difficulty in determining if it's match worn, player issued, or retail / mock up?
Yeah. So this is probably one of the hardest things about being a collector is these older jumpers. A lot of the newer collectors, especially the younger collectors, will only collect modern jumpers. And that's probably good for the older collectors or the ones that want to collect the older stuff because it makes things a bit easier as far as trying to get them authenticated. And I'll try and keep it short. Thank you, Em.
Wanted to say that. I'm sorry.
Authenticating them is just almost impossible. The easiest way to do it is if you're buying it off the player's back or off the player's collection directly, speaking to the player about it, and you know where it's come from. That's the easiest way to authenticate, and really one of the only ways. If you're buying it off a reputable collector, sweet as well. If you just see something on Marketplace that you're like, maybe it is, maybe it isn't, it may not be. Chances are, if you're not too sure, that it probably isn't, and it's sometimes what's the saying? No, I've forgotten. But don't look at me like that. No, it's gone. Anyway, sometimes things aren't always what they seem. That could even be what I was looking for. But if something is there, it is. I found it. If something is too good to be true, it probably isn't. So if something looks like an amazing piece, and you're like, "Oh my god, it's $100," and it looks like a 1985 Melbourne jumper, chances are, what are you looking at me like that for?
You want to say that saying again? If it's probably too good to be true, it probably isn't.
Is that what I said? In my head,
if
it's
it's too good to be true, it probably is.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
No wonder I was giving you the look.
Yeah, fair. Well, in my head, if something's too good to be true, it probably isn't what it seems to be.
Yeah,
is
but
what
that's
I
not how
in
you
my head
say
is
it.
what I was saying.
You
But anyway,
just went, it probably isn't. It probably is.
All right, so if something's too good to be true, likelihood is it is. So it doesn't sound right to me. Anyway, moving on. Keep it short. Chances are, if something's so cheap and it's just from a random place, it's probably not going to be what it seems to be. Like I say, really the only way to get something spectacular that's old woolen stuff is direct or direct from a reputable collector. Super hard. I know it sucks because sometimes you just really love to have some of these old school stuff in your collection, but be prepared to pay for it because that stuff's going to be expensive. Emma, episode 3. We are on episode 3.
Hello.
Question number 3. Thank you. Thank you to Red, White, and Blue Guernseys. Make sure you check them out on Instagram.
Next one is from James Earl. I like these.
James, he's back.
Do you have a favorite jumper template? Can be from any AFL manufacturer over the years. And in regards to last week, I've got a spready.
Spready.
I did say spready. Spready which lists for each jumper, the league, club, year, type of jumper, home, clash, etc. Which player, jumper, number. I can't continue with this. It says spready.
mean, obviously, when he wrote it, he probably didn't think of it when he wrote it like that, what it looked like. And even when I read it earlier, I did not think that. Your mind just goes straight to the gutter. I've completely forgot the question now, but
Okay, so the question was, do you have a favorite jumper template? Can be from any AFL manufacturer over the years.
all right.
And then he was just explaining
Last
that he
week.
has
So
a
the
spreadsheet.
fact that's actually quite incredible. So he has a spreadsheet, not only stuff he has now, but the stuff that he used to have.
Mm.
I can't do that. I just can't do it because,
It upsets him.
as I've mentioned before, when I see stuff that I've had previously, and especially if I knew what I sold it for, I'd hate that. And often I do. Remember, Am's losing it. She can't keep it together. She's gone. Let's continue, shall we? I just can't do it. I can't look back on what I used to have and just remember how much I sold stuff for, and I regret it a lot of the time. So no, I can't keep a spreadsheet of what I even currently have. It's gone. Like my photos are the only way I do it. But it's a great way of doing it. Keeping a spreadsheet, knowing how much you pay for things, and all the information is great. Just don't do that. I can't keep a spreadsheet of old stuff.
So call it a spreadsheet.
So the question, the best template. We'll keep that short. The best template simply is the 2014-2015 West Coast Eagles Puma jumpers.
Ew.
Puma is amazing. Like, well, yeah, it kind of always has been. So they've always had great quality jumpers, but their peak was 2014-2015. The West Coast jumpers. Yes, the wingtips were really weird. They were really short, and the back looked really odd because of it. However, their actual jumpers and the template was just beautiful. So, yeah, I'm going with the 2014-2015 Puma because they look beautiful, and specifically West Coast. Those jumpers were incredible. And please keep an eye out for next week's episode because you may see a little piece of that. I look forward to it.
Cricket. Yeah. Next.
Thank you. Thank you, James. Appreciate it. Next question, please.
Next one is from Tiger Matt in Bunyip in Victoria.
You got it this time. Good job.
Bunyip. Is the grass any greener in WA than here in Victoria? Couldn't help himself.
Yes, I believe so.
It is if you come. My camera's over here.
I didn't
Tell
blink
it's
quick enough,
eyes.
but she turned the wrong way. She's like, yeah. Oh, no.
Yes, the grass is definitely greener if you come to my backyard.
What's wrong with the front yard? That's pretty green too.
That's green too, yeah.
No, I think it is. We have an amazing stadium. Obviously, COVID. I just said, obviously, I'm trying my best. I'm trying. I did pretty well there. Anyway, the amazing stadium we have, Optus, is beautiful. COVID here didn't hit us as hard, so yeah, I'm just talking WA up a little bit too much here. We don't need to. Is a joke question, but real answer, yes.
WA is a good place.
It's a beautiful place.
Place.
Come over, Matt. Come and check out our cave.
Thank you so much, Tiger Matt from Bunyip.
Next question, please.
This is from Andy Munro from TikTok.
The TikTok king.
The TikTok man. Can we get a collector meetup organised?
I think we definitely can. I think we definitely should. And we would love to take cave sessions on the road. So that would be great. The only problem is getting everybody together in one place when everybody's all over Australia. Everybody seems to be spending a lot of money on jumpers, so there's not a lot of money left over for tickets to fly over east and get together. If everyone wants to come to WA, however, we will meet you here.
In that, we're also heading to America in March 19th. You can meet us over there if you want to.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen, but hey, if we can all meet up at Disneyland, that'd be nice.
No, not Disneyland. That's my day. Can you just imagine all these jersey collectors on a ride in Disneyland and be like, yeah, jumpers! And Emma's just like on the ride by herself because you've all just...
It'd be a great time for me. But so, yes, I would love to see that happen. If Andy, you are the TikTok man. You're the man with the most connections. Get it organized. Let's do it. Let's organize something for 2 years' time probably because everyone needs to get it themselves sorted out. Let's pick a place and let's see how many people we can actually get in one place. I reckon that's a good idea. Let's do it. Alternatively, everybody from each state should have a couple of people organize something for their own state. even if we did it at the same time, everybody does it the same time, the same day, in different states, that'd be pretty damn cool because we could all
You have like a FaceTime thing going,
exactly
like a Skype thing going.
Yeah. call Zoom chat or
Yeah.
whatever, and everybody could meet up at the same place, same time in different locations, if that makes any sense whatsoever. But yeah, Andy, get it going. You're the man.
This one's from my bestie. Mystery Cave Lotto from Mr. Blake. Mr. Blake Cook.
Are you saying what's his question?
Mystery Cave Lotto? Question mark.
Oh, should have known.
Full stop.
No. Next question.
I tried. Sorry. Matt Harvey. Do you think as jumpers become more available and mass produced every season with retro rounds, Indigenous, Anzac, Starlight, etc., will it mean that the older jumpers will become more desirable and more valuable?
Yeah, so I think the fact that there are a lot more of the newer jumpers available to get. I mean, I think I've seen 4 or 5 Patrick Dangerfields in the last 2 weeks, which is pretty crazy for a high class player. You're not going to see 4 or 5 Gary Abletts seniors available in 10 years. So they are definitely more valuable for sure. And even I think if you start going back to mid 2000s, that's probably at the point we're at now that's where they start becoming much more valuable. So even prior to that, they're going to be worth a fortune. So yeah, I would say that if you can pick up something from prior to mid 2000s now, you should do so because it's probably going to be the cheapest time to do so. As we get further down the line, as far as the collecting game goes, and it's getting nuts. Trying to pick up those pieces that are going to be quite rare. There's not going to be as many out there at all. 2 to 3 a year. It's going to become much harder to get. Of course, it's going to be more valuable, especially when the more people that get them in their hands don't want to give them up. Going to become almost impossible to get. So getting them out of people's collections often takes a lot more money than they potentially even worth because they don't want to give them up. So yeah, 100% for sure. Some of the ones nowadays will also follow suit. So I'm not saying that the modern stuff will get less valuable. It may come down to just eating the mic.
God, this is gonna be an entertaining episode.
I'm not saying they'll become less valuable. It just means that it may go down to simple fact of designs might become more desirable than just home and away. Well, they already are, but even the players, the high quality players, you may see a home Dangerfield quite cheap, but you might see an Indigenous Dangerfield not as cheap. So hopefully you understand my answer there, but yeah, they will definitely become much more valuable. I don't see the game slowing down that much that things will become cheap for any era at any point. So, yeah. Thanks, Matt. Appreciate it. Next question.
Next question.
That
From
was beautiful.
Ashton Schneider.
Hold on. So you've nailed all of the last names today. Ashton Schneider. See, I stuffed it up then. Ashton Schneider. G'day, Ashton.
What jumper will the Grail of the sale at Fremantle Dockers locker room? I'm assuming like the Grail for you, or just in general.
Yeah, I think he's talking about Grail in general. As far as what do I think will be the most desirable jumper at the sale for everybody? So what do I think that everybody will be trying to get?
David Mundy's.
No, you would think that, and there certainly will be a desire for people to get the David Mundy jumpers, no doubt about it. Especially us.
Just hand them over to us. We'll look after them for you.
We have 50 in the collection and always looking to expand. This is the last possible year we have to expand. So forgive me if we're walking around with 5 or 6 Mundy jumpers in our hands and not willing to give them up. That's the only time I'll say that.
I'll fight you.
The most desirable jumper, I think, is the one that I've had the most questions about. One single jumper. And it's the Nat Fife long sleeve retro. Yeah.
There's a long sleeve? Well, I mean, I know there's a long sleeve, but for Fife, there was a long sleeve.
Yeah, so it's a question that's been asked to me multiple times. I'd say probably at least 10 questions I've had just email or message to me asking me if it would be at the sale. I have asked, yeah, well, how am I supposed to know? I'm not there. But I have asked my connections and they believe it will be. Fifey can do anything nowadays. He can pretty much take whatever he wants without questions asked. So
Yeah, he can literally walk into a room and be like, I'm taking that, and everyone, okay.
So it may very well not be there because he could have taken off with it. But I do believe it does exist. However, they are also not too sure that it actually does indeed exist. So it's going to be an interesting one because no doubt it's going to be the one that everyone's going to try and find as soon as they get there. It could also not exist. So what I mean by that is the only photo of him wearing that was at training. Obviously, he didn't play in the game. So the only photo of him wearing it was at training front on. There's no picture of him with the number out. So he could potentially be wearing somebody else's long sleeve that they had made for them. Because I seriously
Or it could
doubt.
just be a retail.
No.
No?
No, definitely
Okay.
player issue.
Okay. But we don't know the number.
No, we don't. So we don't know what number he was actually wearing. I have asked my connections at the club, and they're not even certain that he did have one made for him, but they do believe it was. So that will be the growl that everyone will be after, I reckon, at the sale. I'm super interested to see if somebody gets it. So if you get that jumper,
show us.
Come and show us. We would love to see it. No doubt we'll be filming some stuff on the day as well. We would love to get it on the show. So come and show us if you do get it. And if no one comes and shows us, it may not exist. So that will be very interesting to find out if it actually even is a thing. Because that's all we have to go by is that picture. So even the club's not even sure it was made. Because I can guarantee you that not everybody had one made. Players would have had to ask for it. So there would have only been a few. So if you're after a long sleeve retro, I definitely wouldn't guarantee you'll get one because there wouldn't be one for every player. Just remember that. 12th of November, 9 a.m. That's it for the questions, is it not? So, yeah, thank you, Ashton. Appreciate that. And everybody else for asking questions. Make sure you jump onto the Player Issue Podcast Facebook or Instagram pages to ask your questions for the next episode. As you can see, we read them all out. So please do. Emma.
Hello.
What's in the cave?
You tell me.
Let's have a look. Let's jump over to the wheel. I love that. That was a real game show.
That was really well done, wasn't it?
Let's jump over to the wheel now. Okay, there we go.
Fortune.
The Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Jumpers.
Please be number one.
All right. Here we go. As you see, all the numbers, blah, 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 bullshit. Let's spin her up.
Shuffle.
Let's spin her up, MZ. It's the first time I called you MZ on the show, I reckon.
I know. Doesn't give you permission, everyone else, to call me MZ.
Okay, here we go. Who's it going to be today? What number are we going to pull out?
53?
I'm going with 326.
I hate you if it's not.
We can't see it because it's hidden behind the names. And I don't know how to get rid of it, but we're about to find out. Who is it? Some pretty high numbers. Oh my God, you're lucky.
Whoa.
Paul Moroney, thank you so much for picking this number. No doubt Em will love you. Number 9, please, Emma.
Yes. Okay, we're going to make it like we've done like this like fast forward thing.
All right. Don't even need to fast forward it today. We're just fast forwarding ourselves. It's taken a while to open that cabinet. So we'll be back in a moment. Actually, they probably wouldn't be able to either. All right, hide that jumper. All right, we're back. Emma has found jumper number 9. Oh, she's breaking the place down. Jumper number 9. Actually, almost took as long as the last couple of weeks to find that. Incredible. 1 to 9. Anyway, she's found it. She's got it in her hands. I still have not seen it, so I don't know what she has. She's having a lot of trouble with that chair at the moment. All right.
Camera wasn't on me.
It wasn't, no. Okay. So, Emma, if you want to hold the jumper up to the camera.
Back.
Front for now. Front, please. You can hold it up now. And I'm going to flick to you. Now, don't give it away. Right, here we go. So here's the jumper for today. Number 9 from Paul Moroney. Thank you, Paul. There it is. It it is a 2000, so a year 2000 Y2K Fremantle Dockers Adrian Fletcher home jumper. Very well worn. If Got to just pull it down a little bit so you can see the whole jumper. That's it. Made by Adidas. The funky new AFL logos is the first time that new logo was used. Often with these jumpers, and especially the away ones, those patches were actually pulled off the old patches. So the 99 jumpers were often recycled. This one was not, because as you can see, as you can see the Adidas logo right in the middle there, that was not on the feature of the 99 previous jumpers. So only in the 2000 jumpers was the home jumpers used. I believe they used the 99 homes for training and preseason as well. A lot of them still had the old AFL logo on them. But so the Hard Yakka sponsor that everyone loved from Freo early days was replaced by Choose Alinta Gas on the front there, and the really weirdly circled AFL logo as well. And Adrian has signed that jumper on the front. If you want to hold that up nice and close for people to see, on the bottom of the anchor there.
How's that?
Yeah, all right. If you want to pull it tight on the side there, yep. There you go, nice and clear. Yeah, Adrian Fletcher, great player, played for a number of clubs, and he finished off with the Freo Dockers, and I can't remember if he was captain. No, I don't think he was. I can't remember. Anyway, fantastic player. Turn it around, show us the back. Alinta Gas on the back there as well. Em, if you want to have a look on the inside, if you could just roll up the inside of the jumper, have a look.
Before you say anything, I was just about to say, is this patch put over something?
Yeah, so
Because you can see on the corner.
You can, and if you turn that jumper inside out, you'll be able to see a little bit of a hidden Easter egg in there.
In the same spot?
Mhm.
Okay.
Just having a look yourself, not showing us yet.
I'm trying to, because there's shorts in here too. What am I looking for?
The patch. Can you see the patch on the back there?
Yeah.
Is it different?
Yeah.
Is it different to the one that's on the outside?
Yeah.
Okay, well show us the camera. So it's upside down, but you get the idea.
Right.
So what's the patch on the back? Just flick it over. It's actually the same patch, but anyway.
No, but it's on the jumper.
Yeah, so really oddly.
So there's a patch, but then on the inside, I can't really show you, but if you've got a light behind it, so that light shining on it behind it, you can actually see the line, the letters don't line up.
Okay. So
does that make sense? So here, let me see if I can do it.
So while Em's doing that, we'll flick back to me. But the interesting thing of that is, I believe Alinta Gas was in the process of changing the logo or whatever, but they weren't happy with the logo, so they had to patch over the top of the logo. Really odd, because a lot of people would have thought that potentially it had Yakka on the back, and they just patched over it, which they did with the away one. So the away jumper, which was a 3D anchor, they actually repatched the 99 for the majority of them anyway.
So see the A?
Let's go to M again. Yeah, so
you can see that. I'll show up on camera, but see how that's the patch A?
show it up nice and close to the
There's
camera.
an A there, so the A's don't line up.
Yeah, so there's a bit of a shadowing there, and that's purely because the logo underneath, when it was sublimated onto the jumper, there was something a little wrong with it, a little off, so they had to repatch over the top. And I believe the colours weren't quite right on the patch underneath, so that's why they had to actually patch over it with a new patch.
For instance, there's the eye, the dot on the eye for the patch, which is ginormous compared to the dot on the...
Yeah, it's massive. Yeah, so the patch just didn't. Well, the patch covered up the old logo, which Alinta Gas wasn't happy with, or the club wasn't happy with, so they've had to change that over. So you'll find that with a lot of the old jumpers that they have had to patch over old sponsors. It happens still nowadays.
Sure.
Yeah, and so there are some shorts that came with that as well. That is the shorts. So the player shorts had that Southern Land Rover patch on there, and it was only the player shorts that had that patch. So that's why you know that is a player issue pair of shorts or worn pair of shorts. Yeah, so there you go. A 2000 Adrian Fletcher home Fremantle Dockers signed jumper with a couple of little Easter eggs on it. I'll show you some photos of that as well, so you get a little bit more understanding as to what Em was trying to show you. And I'll see if
it makes sense if you...
Yeah, I'll get some more examples for you as well. That's it. That's what's in the cave today. Emma's super happy. She only had to go and count 9 jumpers.
I can't count any more than what's on my fingers.
But that's it. Em, you can just throw that on the floor if you want because we are done.
You seriously give me permission to throw a jersey on the floor?
Gently.
Are you
I mean,
feeling
well, let's remember the weekend. You actually came in and cleaned up the place, so it's nice and clean.
Yeah, I did
Yeah.
mop the floors. So
That did actually hurt a little piece of my soul. Anyway, that's it. We're done. It is much shorter this week, thankfully.
not much.
No, it's a fair bit. As we say every week, if there is anything you would like to see in the show, please let us know. If segment ideas, your questions, send them in. If you just want to be on the show, we could probably make that happen as well. Em, thank you for joining me.
Pleasure as always.
It's amazing you have these rants. You just go off. And you got so much to say. When it comes to the end,
Nothing.
Thanks.
Mate, I'm thinking of my dressing gown, my slippers, and a cup of Milo. I can't say that. Cup of hot.
No, you can because
She's
it's
not
not here. So, yeah. All right. Em's out of here. We're done. That's it. Show's over. Thank you for joining us. The head will be back next week. Thimo will be changed over. And we'll have a new segment for you. I look forward to that with Cave Sessions on the road. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Have a good one.